I hate traveling. I especially hate traveling for work. But about a year ago, I had a work obligation about 4 hours from home, and the area was supposed to be beautiful. Mountains, forests, the kind of place people take pictures of and put on their vision boards. So I figured, why not bring my wife along? She hates when I travel without her anyway, so this felt like the perfect solution. She could explore during the day while I handled my meetings, and we could spend evenings together. We rented this house that was mostly secluded. Not in the middle of nowhere exactly, but definitely set apart from everything else by a thick stretch of trees on all sides. When we pulled up, my wife immediately said she would love to own something like this one day. It was that kind of place. Charming. Quiet. The kind of quiet that feels like a reward after a long drive. That first night, we walked around the whole house, just taking it in. It had a large basement that was mostly used for storage, and a back porch that looked directly into the trees. We ate dinner, opened a bottle of wine, and went to bed early. Everything was perfect. I woke up at 6 the next morning to get ready for my first meeting. I reached over to my wife's side of the bed, and it was empty. I got up and found her in the kitchen, sitting at the counter with her coffee, scrolling her phone. I asked her why she was up so early. She told me she had woken up in the middle of the night and could not get back to sleep. She said when she rolled over, at some point, she thought she saw someone standing in the corner of the bedroom. Just standing there, still. She said it was too dark to be certain, and she convinced herself it was her imagination. But she lay awake for hours after that, just listening. At some point, she thought she heard a sound from that same corner, and after that, she was done trying to sleep. She got up at 5 and had been sitting in the kitchen ever since. I could see it in her face. She was exhausted and still a little shaken, even sitting there in the daylight with her coffee. I felt terrible leaving her, but she told me to go. She said she would get ready and go explore the town, and she would be fine. I left for my meeting. She texted me throughout the morning, but the responses were short, one-word answers mostly. That was not like her. I got out of my obligation early and met her for lunch in town. She did not look well at all. She told me that when she was getting ready to leave that morning, she had laid her clothes out on the bed after her shower, neatly folded the way she always does. When she came back from the bathroom, her clothes were still there, but they were different. Instead of being folded and stacked, they were half-folded and sort of thrown into a loose pile, like someone had picked them up and put them back down carelessly. She said she stood there for a long time, just staring at them. She grabbed another pair of socks because she could not find the one she had laid out, and she left the house as fast as she could. She took an Uber into town because I had the car. I did not know what to say to her. I believed her completely. My wife is not a dramatic person, and she is not someone who frightens easily. But I did not have an explanation, and I did not have a solution, and we still had 2 more nights in that house. We drove back together that afternoon.
I told myself I was going to go through every room, check every door and window, find a logical explanation for everything she had experienced, and put both our minds at rest. I started in the basement. The basement was large and poorly lit, the kind of space that holds the cold even in summer. Most of it was storage, old furniture, boxes, equipment belonging to the owner. I was moving through it methodically when I noticed a door at the far end that I had not seen on our initial walkthrough. It was set slightly into the wall, almost flush with the paneling, the kind of door you would miss if you were not specifically looking for it. It was unlocked. Behind it was a small room, empty except for one thing: a camping chair set up in the center of the room facing the door, and on the floor beside the chair, a water bottle. Not dusty, not old, completely full, and cold to the touch. Someone had been in that room recently, someone who had access to the house, someone who had been there while we slept. I called the rental company immediately. They sent someone within the hour who claimed they had no knowledge of that room and no idea how anyone could have accessed the property. They offered to move us to another rental. We took the offer without discussing it. We were in the car and leaving within 20 minutes. We never found out who it was. The rental company said they filed a report with the police. I followed up twice after we got home, and both times I was told the investigation was ongoing. The water bottle was cold. That is the part one keeps coming back to. Whoever